Does it annoy you that Levy Rosman constantly uses you for content?
Yeah.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Ladies and gentlemen, over the years I've made tons of content on this channel, various series, instructive, educational, entertaining. But today we're doing something different. I recently crossed 8 million subscribers and I thought, what better way to celebrate than to make a highly edited video reacting to content by Magnus and Hikaru. This was hotly requested by thousands of you because recently at the Esports World Cup, they did a lie detector collab and they answered some pretty spicy questions, including several about yours truly, which I have to say, side note, very humbling. Like, honestly, it's an honor considering they were talking about their careers, they mentioned other top players, and then there was little old Gotham. So in this video, I am going to get into the questions about me becoming a grandmaster. I will address Magnus Carlsen finding it annoying that he is constantly used for content on this channel and other things. But there was actually a couple of other questions that I want to get into because they're fascinating and I want to unpack them and in typical Gotham style, I want to break them down for you, starting with these two.
Do you genuinely think I am your equal?
No. Would you describe me as arrogant?
Yes.
Telling the truth.
I don't disagree. So I...
You gotta love this. Right off the bat, we just jump straight into it. Do you genuinely think I'm your equal? Man just shuts it down instantly. Absolutely not. Now, I don't know if he's talking about chess or in general. We don't know. But it's quite illuminating, right? The personality traits that you need to succeed in the sport. And Magnus doesn't disagree that he would be considered arrogant. But that's the thing about chess. It requires such an insane amount of self-belief that you kind of don't listen to anybody else. And for me, being a chess player from very young, I didn't become an elite player, but building this whole channel through the pandemic and building my own chess program in school when I was a teacher, running my own business, I think chess actually from a very young age gave me a lot of self-confidence and self-belief in my own judgment. And, you know, that's both good and bad because it also makes you potentially arrogant, but also can make you very stubborn, difficult to change your mind, etc. All right, roll the next one.
Have you ever privately celebrated one of my losses?
Yeah, many times.
Yes.
Is there one game that comes to mind?
No, I would say it's more of a kind of stream hate watch kind of thing. That's been many times. And my wife, when we first met, she was a bit mad that I would watch your streams.
I feel like this is premium lore that Magnus's wife, when they first met, was getting annoyed he had Hikaru running. Like, I don't know if you added the stream running on his phone or like on the giant TV. I've actually heard similar stories. Like sometimes I'll have somebody say, oh, you know, my fiance gets really annoyed because I'm always putting your videos up on the living room TV. Yeah, just really funny. And if I had to surmise, is that a word? I don't think Magnus hate watches many other people. So this clearly shows the degree to which Hikaru has played a role in his life over the last 20 years. And on that note, the next few questions of this video are both of them discussing games that happened more than 15 years ago that they both remember, which just blows my mind. All right, let's get into this lore.
Do you hold a grudge against me for anything?
Yes.
You're reacting. You might have held a grudge at some point, but you don't anymore.
That is true. I think specifically the Norway Blitz tournament back in 2009, that really hurt me.
Ah, yeah, the pawn race. Yeah, one of them all.
Yeah, but you've got over that now. You've got over that. So.
I might have to do a whole separate video for that. 2009. There is a Blitz tournament, and I think there's even a video on YouTube, maybe we'll overlay it here, where at the end of the game, these two get into a pawn race, and ultimately Magnus has to storm off because he's been defeated. This was before Magnus was ranked 1 in the world. So I think this was when he was like right there. 2010, I think he broke in for the very first time. In 2011, he became the world champion. Or no, he became world champion in 2013. But in 2011, he was already ranked world number 1. And probably at that point, Hikaru still was like, I'm the best in the world, especially in blitz chess. And so Magnus held a grudge and only got over it. It's been 17 years, and they both remember the details of the game, which is just awesome. Like, that is just, I imagine tennis or any other individual sport can be similar. You remember everything. So, but there's more on these deep dive. Like, listen to this question.
Which game between us are you most proud of?
It's hard to say. The first one that came to my mind was, for some reason, from Romania in 2011.
With when you were white, or
Yeah,
right?
like
the Queen's Gambit.
Queen's
Yeah,
Gambit.
this one, yes.
Okay, 2011. Hikaru instantly is like, the one where you were white, and right away, Queen's Gambit declined. We'll put the game up on the screen. Very imbalanced game, very fighting game, and Magnus at this point just touching that #1 spot in the world. A couple of years since he became before he became the world champion. But they both remember the way that Magnus just outplays him from start to finish. I think these guys remember this because it's classical chess. The more brain power that you give to a game, the more likely you are to remember it, especially if you play like Blindfold, for example. But they must remember the ideas from these types of games, I want to say forever, until something else pushes it out, like maybe becoming, dads or whatever is going to ultimately take more brain power. And one thing they won't remember is all their rapid and blitz games. That stuff is kind of like in and out. And that is one of the beautiful things about classical chess, is these guys can play a game 15 years ago and remember every detail. Probably can remember like what they wore that day and maybe what they had for breakfast. And yeah, so 15 years ago. He hasn't played a game since that he's proud of. That's just that one. Ever since then, it's been a matter of routine.
Have I ever completely outplayed you in a game?
Many times.
Yes.
I guess the first time in a classical game was 2010, I guess, Tata Steel. In this Real Opus, you completely outplayed me and I managed to fight back. London, that one time in the Scotch. And that's just classical. Like in Rapid and Blitz, it's been many times.
Yeah. First of all, 2010, Tata Steel wasn't even called Tata Steel. Back then it was called Chorus. It's kind of funny. You went back and found that game. This was one of their earliest classical chess encounters. And in classical chess, for the longest time, Hikaru had a record against Magnus that I have against Hikaru in Online Blitz. That's actually not exactly true, because they made a lot of draws, but Hikaru couldn't beat him. And part of that was the defensive tenacity. Hikaru had a lot of games where he was outplaying Magnus, as Magnus just said, and obviously as I'm talking, the game's up on the screen, and Magnus was lost in that game, likely. I mean, practically speaking, but he would continuously fight back and ultimately held the half a point, saved the draw instead of losing. And then he shouted out London in a Scotch, which is London Chess Classic 2017. They used to play London Chess Classic all the time. It used to be creme de la creme of the prestigious events. It's not anymore, only because of the players that are not participating. And now we live in a world of chess where you could be a top player and not play like any classical tournaments, and you can probably still be the best in the world. It's a bit of a weird time. I really wish we would find a way to incorporate every player into every event. But yeah, 2017 Scotch, again, if I'm not mistaken from my own analysis, 2 endgames where Hikaru was up a piece. He was up a piece in both endgames for pawns and counterplay, and both times Magnus managed to hold. I think the only time Magnus lost to Hikaru in classical was like, I don't know, it was like 1 game. It was 1 game, which I can't even remember where at this point. So, yeah. So that's a little bit of deep dive lore for you on some of their back and forths. I really love this. And there was other questions that they talked about in this video, like, do you think anybody matches up to me? Like, do you think I've been your biggest rival? Will you miss competing against me when I'm gone? That type of stuff. But a couple of questions, actually, specifically 3 times your boy was mentioned in this video, which is wild to me. The first of which I will roll for you right now.
Okay, I don't know why they added... I know why they added this one, but it just annoys me. Do you think GothamChess will ever become a grandmaster?
Yes.
You're not sure there, are you? Yeah, you're not sure on that one.
No, I'm trying to trick you. I can't just answer honestly to everything.
I know, that was quite a big no there.
I've seen the clip but I never saw the guy say that's quite a big no there. And actually, when I was watching this video to prepare this one, I didn't realize Magnus prefaced the question with like, oh, I don't know why they put this in there. Well, I know why they put this in there. Yeah, this Grandmaster Gotham thing has taken on kind of a life of its own, almost like The Rook. Like, I never set out for The Rook to be a viral meme. I started the Road to Grandmaster series a couple of years ago, and then people sort of went wild with it, so I started leaning into it a little bit more. Every time I have a good tournament, I'm like, oh, Grandmaster Levy, and then I have a bad tournament, and it's like, I'm never going to become Grandmaster, and now it's like, the reason why Magnus said that is because it's truly a ridiculous question to ask guys like this, because the answer is unequivocally as close to 100% no as it can be, especially given the current situation. I'm 30. I'm old for chess. Prodigies are propping up around the world who are 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, who are already better than me, playing chess full time, and I would have to sacrifice a lot just to even study the game. And then study doesn't always translate into actually performing. I've beaten over 500 grandmasters in the world. I'm pretty happy with where I am. But these guys, they don't think so, and they're probably quite tired of answering it. So I get it, you know. I never saw that Magnus was like, I don't know why they put this in here. The answer is no. All right, both of them, it's no. It's no for me. It's no, given the current situation, and that's fine. You know, I want to focus on things I really like. Competing in chess just stresses me out, and I'm pretty sure it's taking time off of the last years of my life. Next question.
Are you jealous of any other chess players?
Yes. I'll just say, a little bit jealous in some ways of Levy. GothamChess.
He's not a... Nah, I shouldn't say that.
Well, there you go. Now that's the content. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I actually like him a lot, so clip that.
A lot of roller coasters of emotions here. So I'm not... This is not a question about me, but I get mentioned. Kind of crazy that Hikaru actually said that. I'm not going to lie. I don't even know how to react to that in some ways. It's very humbling, and it's quite shocking. I mean, Hikaru is really the only person on the planet to achieve both insane success at playing and insane success in content creation. Over 3 million subscribers, plus all the other followers and all the other platforms. Streaming, he used to stream like over 200 hours a month. I don't know what he streams nowadays, but playing in like every possible online tournament. He's gotten to 3,000 from 0, playing a bunch of different openings. I'm pretty sure he got to 3,000 giving away his queen in every game, although I'm not sure about that. But like playing the Bon Cloud and all this other stuff. So content factory, content machine. Like I can't hold a candle to that. Like I get exhausted playing chess online for 2-3 hours in front of a camera. And frequently my streams turn into degeneracy. So, yeah. And I think he elaborated on that a couple days later. He did a behind the scenes type of video, and he mentioned something about maybe people too much associating the popularity of chess with me and my work. And to some extent that is true, because all of this chess boom started in 2020. It was COVID, it was Hikaru collaborating with XQC, he kind of lit the flame, then there was Queen's Gambit, and then I was doing commentary on Hikaru's channel when he was playing in the online tournaments during the pandemic, 2020, 2021, started focusing on my own stuff. And maybe now that we're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years into the future, people are like, oh, Gotham, like he popularized chess. And that's not exactly true, but what I will say is, what I've done for 5, 6 years is I have thought every day, every month, every week, every half a year, every quarter of the financial year, of the calendar year, of how to like continue to do interesting things in chess, and whether that's trying new series. Recently, I've been collaborating with athletes. My wife and I made it onto the set of Kitchen Nightmares. That was kind of crazy. We did a live tour. Nobody's ever done a live chess show tour, as far as I'm aware of. Different commentary at different major events. I'm always looking to make chess more interesting, more fun for people. And people gravitate to that. And they gravitate to it, and you probably gravitate to it on this channel more than others, and I'm extremely appreciative. And actually, I would say that a lot of content creators have also started to make videos in their own language, from their own country, from all over the world, because they're like, if that idiot can do it, so can I. And that's fantastic. That's great. You know, I'm going to keep doing what I do. I have my books. I'm trying to, you know, build a legacy in the world of chess, and I love it, you know? So Hikaru, I mean, I can't tell somebody how to feel, but what he's done is incredible. And I think he, Magnus, myself, I think we can all be proud of our contributions to the game. I don't even want to include myself in the conversation with them because they're athletes. They do what they do on the board or on the screen. And it's very different. But anyway, that was kind of crazy. And now let's get to the good one.
Does it annoy you that Levy Rosman constantly uses you for content?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
This 5-second clip is just such a gut punch. When I saw this, I was like, no, Magnus, even if it was the truth, just lie. So this was devastating. But a year ago, he said this.
Who's your favorite chess YouTuber?
I have no idea. GothamChess? Sure.
Excuse you?
I mean, guys, in the world of soccer, football, I show speed. Celine, when they meet Ronaldo, who is their idol, they are beside themselves. They are overcome with emotion. Just imagine. Ronaldo said that them making content about him is annoying. No, it's not that serious, all right? I get it. First things first, he is in a lot of content. Not just on this channel, on many other channels. A few years ago, he was playing much more actively. He would play online, he would play offline. Plus, before I had any video catalog, I hadn't covered his historical games. I hadn't covered the best games of his career, or some of the most important tournaments that he won, or different moments in his career, like when he played against Garry Kasparov, or how he became the world champion, or showing you different openings that he experiments with and then how he plays those positions. And so, of course, anytime you open YouTube, it's like, Magnus, Magnus, Magnus. So I understand. And in some ways, it's even hilarious and ridiculous to make a response video to this, because people are going to be like, well, you're still using him for content. Yeah, the alternative was pretending like this didn't exist, which didn't feel very natural. Plus, I don't get to do a lot of these reaction videos anyway. So here's what I want everybody to understand, and Magnus too, if he watches this. This man transcends the game of chess. He is a superstar. He is a myth. He's an enigma. He is a legend. I have watched grown men shake, trying to introduce themselves to him when we were in an elevator together. All right? He has grown much past the game, and everything he does is magic. It could be a table slam. It could be Jeansgate. It could be walking into the frame of a picture shirtless when he was playing in those online tournaments, okay? How about all the running and jumping? How about running into games 2.5 minutes late at World Championships and still pulling it off? Anything he does when it's broken down to an audience can generate tens of millions of views, if not hundreds of millions of views. People love this man. Like, they are so fascinated by this level of dominance. It is unprecedented. It doesn't happen in any other sport. Only in chess, he has dominated for 15 years, and Garry Kasparov dominated for 20 years. We are in the Magnus era, and he is still winning to this day. If he was still defending the Classical World Championship, I don't know. Could be a 22, 23-time champion. Is he getting weaker later in this phase of his career relative to before? Yeah, probably. For the first time ever, he's looked beatable, but then he shows up and he completely dominates. And one more thing, this video is Magnus being used for content, because Magnus and Hikaru in a lie detector is a banger. It got like 1 million views in 3 days or 4 days, and then all of the reactions, including this one, people clipping it and sending it off left and right. And let's not forget, Magnus and I did World Championship recaps when Gukesh was going up against Ding Liren. Those things did numbers. And that's because when you have such big names participating, whether it's playing or commentating on an activity or a sport, it's going to draw eyeballs. And that brings me to my second point, positivity and professionalism. I would understand if Every other day I posted something about Magnus and his career being finished, or him losing a game and it's the end of the world, or even in some of those controversial moments, like whether it was between Freestyle and Fide, or the Jeans Gate, or anything else. If anything, I get accused of being a Magnus sympathizer, a Magnus defender, a Magnus glazer, dare I say. That is a word that the younger generation uses. But it doesn't matter whether it's Magnus, Hikaru, or anybody else. When I cover things on this channel, I'm going to do it with a sense of professionalism, and I'm going to understand that my words have weight, and I choose what I say carefully. Not that, like, anybody's looking over my shoulder, but, you know, I love the sport. I love all everybody that's participating for the most part. A couple of people I don't like, but you already know who they are. And so I've stuck to that over the years, you know. I never bring family into it. You know, I'm not like TMZing him in Oslo or wherever he is in the world. You know, earlier this year in January 2026, both Hikaru and I were invited to do an event in Barcelona with Magnus. It's probably on the screen right now. And before that, we had a nice dinner for like 2 hours. So overall, while I think it might be annoying that he is the face of chess in many, many, many ways, tens of billions of views in English and in all sorts of other languages I don't even touch, that are being touched by other content creators and individuals and media outlets around the world. I think more than anything, he sees how much the game has grown. And while it might be annoying, I think you saw it. He said, you know, he likes me a lot, and I appreciate that, because I'm never going to do something to him or any other player to put myself in the unlikable position. And I also want to give you an example of something that, in my opinion, is not the same as what I described and is farming for content. Take a look.
Nobody can beat this dummy's carrot. Stop watching this dummy.
Look, I don't like to call people out individually, but like these comments, I didn't write a single one of those. They're all photoshopped and they're all putting words in my mouth, and it's not like it's anything bad, but content is being made out of that, right? And also this profile picture, like what if I just went around chess.com playing games with this profile picture, right? I focus on viral moments, big games, important tournaments, and things that I can package into content that ultimately show basically everybody in the chess world in a positive light. But I want to sign off this video with one important thing. This was the first year I had to cover Magnus in a negative way. I couldn't package anything that he was doing in the Norway Chess Tournament 2026 positively. He went on a losing streak. That is unheard of. Now, I know I could have focused on other players in the tournament that were having success. Yes, could have, absolutely. Instead, I made thumbnails that were like this, more dramatic, and probably skew negative. But I do that for every player that struggles in a tournament with the hope that when they bounce back, we have another ridiculous over-the-top thumbnail that looks like this. And, you know, it's them as an anime character doing some sort of crazy move. Actually, Hikaru even called me out on this. I had arrived in Paris at the Esports World Cup, and I saw a quote where he kind of said, you know, I can't get upset when people talk about me because I talk about how bad he is, or Gukesh, or Magnus, and I was like, but I don't. I would never, ever dare to say any of these players are bad. What I have done is stuff like this, where I put Gukesh or Hikaru or Magnus on a thumbnail, and it's dramatic. Maybe there's rain, maybe it's in black and white, maybe it's red, disaster, what's happened? But that hooks in the viewer, and then I tell the story. Could I fix the packaging? Yeah, I could. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just choose not to do that, because if I name the video Hikaru recap round 6 or Magnus just played another game against Ali Reza, not only do people not click it, it doesn't even get recommended to people. I would actually prefer to lean on the side of sensationalism with the packaging, but not with the words. I'm never going to sit here in a video and go, oh my God, what's Hikaru doing? He's so bad. Like, I'm never, because, right? I see sports analysts on television saying stuff like that, and I'm like, but they never even played the sport. Like, how can you, like, I get it. I've played. I know the stress and stuff like that. So I'll end with this. I have A/B tested plenty of titles and thumbnails without Magnus on them. And they do worse. 5, 10%, sometimes 20% worse. And so if Magnus is going to play in a tournament, or basically do almost anything in the world of chess, I'll put it on the cover. You know, I won't put it on the cover as best as I can if he's not participating. I won't just clickbait if he's not in the event at all, although I've probably done that. I've made thousands of videos, so I'm probably guilty of that at some point. But overall on this channel, I love chess. And I want to share some parting thoughts. I love chess. I watch the sport all the time. I watch all the major events. And 7 years ago, before COVID, I was a chess teacher in New York. Since 2015, I was running a program. That was what I did. I looked up to players like Magnus, Hikaru, and many, many other players. I would watch them in tournaments. I would watch commentary. And now I'm getting talked about in one of the most viral videos of the year, featuring two of these players. Me, the chess teacher from Brooklyn, New York, who used to wake up on Saturday morning and do like 6 private lessons, grab a bagel, sit somewhere in a park, go to the rest of my lessons. On Sunday, I would coach kids at a tournament. Monday through Friday, I would go to college, get my statistics degree. And in the afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m., I would give private lessons. And then the entire world shut down one day. And since then, I became GothamChess. Do I put Magnus in too many of my thumbnails? Yeah. Have I overdone the grandmaster title thing? Yeah. But have I tried my best over the last few years to operate this channel with integrity, passion for the game, and a drive to make it as accessible as possible to other people? I would say yes. So if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thank you. Whether you just watch, whether you pre-order books, whether you get a course, sign up for chess.com, whatever it is. I don't have any plans of going anywhere. I appreciate the two of these individuals very, very much in the world of chess. And I wish them many more years of prosperity over the board, on their screens, with their families. And that concludes my lie detector reaction. I hope you enjoyed. Get out of here.